Today we're gonna pull back the curtain and look at my Spotify streams. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I have done a video on Spotify streams. So I figured I would do one and possibly make it a reoccurring series that I do once a month. I'm gonna take you behind the scenes, show you my streams, where they're coming from, strictly with Spotify, what songs are performing well, which ones are not, and kind of just give you an overview. And I'm gonna show you the numbers, show you the screen so you can see exactly what I am seeing. And before I share my screen with you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow a ton. I've been having some fantastic channel growth recently and I truly appreciate it. Another way you can support is to go down into the description below. Down there I have links to deals on things, links to my website, my music, my Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So please check that out as well. All right, for those of you who are familiar, this is kind of just the artist dashboard that you will see when you are signed up with Spotify Artist. And just a quick background, those of you who've been following the channel, you know that I have one song that is primarily where most of my streams come from, and that is my song Morning. That one got picked up on some Spotify playlists, it got added to some other ones. I've just had fantastic success with it for the last couple years. So looking at these numbers, you're gonna notice that a lot of them come from one song. My other songs perform okay. I wish they all performed as well as my song Morning. They don't, and that's just the way it is. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look just kind of at the dashboard real quick. I'm gonna give you a quick overview for those who might not be familiar with this or are new to it. So over here you have your people listening right now. This is very addicting to watch. As I've been recording here, it started around 19 people listening, went up to about 43, now it's down to 24. So that's quite a bit of fun to watch if you're into that. So let's just jump right into it. Over here you have kind of your last 7 days, things like that. I usually don't look at those that much. I just dive right in. First thing I always go to is my audience. So this is over the last 28 days, what my streams have done. About a month ago, I had approximately, I can kick the streams here, approximately about 120, 135,000 streams in a 28-day period. Usually for me, when a holiday weekend happens, my numbers drop dramatically and then they stay low for a couple weeks, then they kind of build back up to where they were. And this is exactly what I'm seeing here. It dropped down after, I believe it was Labor Day, and so now it's starting to climb back up. So this is the last 20 days, so September 21st to October 18th is what we're looking at right now. 90,000 streams. It's not a million or anything like that, but it's also like a very solid amount. As you can see right here, down 11% from the last month. If you look at listeners, down 9%. It's hovering around 63,000 monthly listeners before they dropped because of because of the holiday weekend. The reason I say is because every time there's a holiday weekend, it always drops and then has to build back up. So the good news though, with this 28-day snapshot is I had a good week here. You know, streams peaked at about 5,100 on a Tuesday. And then this week has been really good. And I don't know about you guys if you follow this, but my weekends are there's always a dip on the weekends and then they ramp back up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, front end of the week being probably the most strong days of the week. So this was kind of fun seeing this going Thursday, Friday, usually dips off on Saturday. Then recently Saturday, it kept growing. It was basically equal to Friday. And then Sunday went more, and then Monday came along, and then Tuesday. So it's been nice growth the last week or so on my streams. Followers for me have always been a real slow roll. I think that's because my music's more passive than active. I've done a video on that, what I mean by that. Either are you seeking my music out or is it something on a playlist that you have on in the background? I think my music tends to be background music, which is not a bad thing. There's fantastic background music. And that's just, I write instrumental music and that's just what it tends to be. So let's pop over listeners real quick. Of course, your listener number will always be lower than your streams listener. I average about, just looking at these numbers, it's approximately 2 streams per person, about 45,000 listeners and 90,000 streams. So it's a little less than 2 streams per person. So that kind of tells me that a lot of my stuff is probably being played on playlists where only one of my songs lives, or maybe 2. I have some fellow musicians that they have the same amount of listeners or maybe even less, but they have, maybe 4 listens per listener, 4 streams per listener. So it kind of just depends on your music. Are people going to your channel listening to an album? Because then obviously you're going to get more streams per listener. But like I said, I think mine is mostly based on playlists. All right, I'm just going to kind of hammer through these real quick. Demographic. Mine has always been heavy on the female side. All right, so this is always kind of fun to do. Location this month, again, I'm thinking about making this a series, just kind of showing it, you know, once a month how everything's looking. So this month, in the last 28 days, United States is obviously my biggest market. Canada, Australia, Germany, United Kingdom, Netherlands. I've been really stoked about how my stuff's been performing the last 6 months. It's been the strongest it's ever been. My goal was always to kind of get over, you know, 10,000 monthly listeners, 15, 20, and so on, and grow. And then I actually hit the 50,000 monthly listener mark a little while ago, and went past it, got to about 63, 65,000. Growing back up. If these trends continue, I'll be over 50,000 here again pretty soon, which I'm ecstatic about. Cannot wait. Obviously, with more listeners comes more streams, which in return turns into more revenue. Okay, now let's hop over to music and see what songs are performing the best. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, my song Morning is by far my best performing song. So these numbers will seem very skewed because they are. All right, so here we are on my music tab for the last 28 days. I look at this every single day, and I also always like to filter the last 24 hours to see where things are coming from. So I'm going to go over this real quick. Kind of point out some things. So of course, Morning, out of my 90,000 monthly streams, or in the last 28 days, almost 80,000 of them are from my song Morning. As you can see, views, that's the canvas. So if you're listening on mobile, you can see some visual art there. 403 saves. That to me is fantastic. That means 403 times in the last 20 days, someone's like, I like this, I want to save it. That is incredibly flattering. So as we move down, it drops off dramatically to my next song, Curious, at, you know, a little over 2,100, almost 2,200 monthly streams, and you can just see it starts to drop off from there as you go down. And I have some songs that just perform, you know, I never really pushed them much, I never really promoted them much, and you can tell they kind of just hover around a couple plays a month, I guess in this case. That's pretty bad. Maybe I need to promote those, or maybe you can go listen to them. This one is definitely kind of more for sync and licensing. You know, that's the angle I was going on it. It's just kind of like short, cinematic shorts is what it's called, cinematic shorts. So anyway, let's go to the last 24 hours. This is something I always like to do, especially when I have like a strong day. And of course, I always know it's going to be, Morning's going to just be crushing it. Over 6,000 streams yesterday. And then the next one is not even at 100. So that just kind of gives you an idea. But I'm confident if Morning wasn't performing so well, all my other streams would be even lower, because I'm sure there are people who listen to Morning and say, hey, I kind of like this, I'm going to check it out. Or, excuse me, they like it and they save it, and then in daily mixes and things like that, one of my other songs might, you know, fall into their queue and they might like it, listen to it, save it, things like that. I mean, like here, Echoes, saves. They might have heard this, they might have saved it, then Echoes pops, hey, boom, save Echoes. So that's kind of how that's looking there. Another thing I like to go to and just kind of keep up to date on is releases. So again, 24 hours, always like to look at that, but I also like to look at the last, 28 days. That needs to refresh. Let's do that real quick. So here are the last 28 days after the page is refreshed. You can see my my most recent album, Lines, is getting about 3,500 streams a month. That's gone down a little bit. When things were kind of hitting on all cylinders about a month or so ago, a little more than a month ago, it's about closer to 5,000 streams a month, which, you know, it's a decent increase. But if you go down, you know, you can see songs that have been added to playlists or that are, you know, getting some love on some Spotify algorithm playlists, things like that. So there's always kind of bright spots, you know, as you go through. And of course, you get down here and you have V, my first solo release, almost at 8,500 or 85,000 monthly streams. That's where, of course, most everything's coming from. That's where my 3 most popular songs live. And this is something I always like to do. I always like to go, since 2015, the total plays on everything. You know, I'm creeping up on 2 million streams on V, which is absolutely nuts to me. Morning's over 1.5, coming up on 1.6. Just so cool. So cool. Thank you to everybody who has listened. It means so much to me. Okay, so I got playlists real quick. Where are these streams coming from? This to me has been incredibly fascinating. I'm just gonna go last 28 days. This has changed a ton for me this year. Radio. I did a video earlier this year when radio started becoming a source of streams for me. And it's never really been a source for me before. This year it's been the primary source of all of my streams. I don't know what's happened, what's changed. It seemed to happen right after my song Morning crossed the 1 million stream mark. I don't know if that's something in their algorithm where, oh, hey, this song has 1 million, we're gonna start putting in radio rotation. I do not know what it was, but it just happened to be at that exact same moment. So in the last 28 days, more than half of my monthly streams are coming from radio. I've got 10 songs in it. Morning is the main one, of course, but these are the other songs that are getting streams on radio every 28 days. And as you can see, I'm on Daily Mix. I got 10 songs there. Discover Weekly. Morning usually is the only one there. My other song, Curious, was on Discover Weekly for a while. On repeat, Morning, top 3 songs. That's always kind of fun. A couple there. Show All, just some other ones. People are still listening to their top songs from 2019, and I'm getting a couple plays off that, so that's cool. Editorial down here. Oh, this is actually new. It looks like I might not be on there anymore. I think last 20 days. Interesting. This is new. I've not seen this yet. But Spotify playlist Rise. That's the one that I got on a while ago. They update it all the time, so this always changes, but I think I was added to it late 2019, I believe is when it was. But they seem to refresh it every month or so, and so this date here, date added changes, because once they refresh it, move it around, this changes almost monthly for me. This is new. Garth Stevenson. So I was on their Spotify playlist at some point in the last 28 days. Last 28 days, got 4 streams, 4 listeners. I'll take it. And underneath this is the slew of Spotify playlists that I'm on in the last 28 days. So last 28 days, 8,600 playlists. Now you're like, wow, that's a lot. It is, but you'll see as I do show more, you know, I get solid streams on the first chunk, and you'll see it really start dropping off as I scroll down. Now we're at 56, scroll more, 18, 19. A lot of these playlists, I guarantee you there is 0 streams on it, or maybe 1. You know, I'm at 100, we're down to 6 streams on it out of 8,600. So that seems like a huge number, but actual streams coming from it, not so much. And you can also see the dates that you've been added and taken off. So if usually it's blank like this, that usually means you're probably not on it anymore. Song title not available. But these ones up here I've been on for a good amount of time. And so for example, like Skyrim Sleep, 2018, May 4th, he added me from the get-go. I totally appreciate him doing that. Alejandro, it's been a huge source of streams for me from day one. So a lot of great playlists I'm on, and this is something I always look at too, just how it's progressing. Upcoming, there's nothing much going on there. Audience, we kind of looked at that. Yeah, this is kind of like an overview of what I look at on a daily basis. I look at my listeners, I look at my streams, I look at the songs, how they perform individually, usually in the last 24 hours. I look at playlists in case, you know, maybe someday, again, I'll be added to a Spotify editorial that's bigger than Rise, and I'm going to get more streams from it. So I'm always on the lookout for that, although I missed this one, even though it's kind of a small playlist. But I always like to see when they add me to a playlist, you know, the editorial team adds me to something. So that's always exciting. So yeah, this is really basically what I do every single day. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting. I know a lot of artists don't like sharing this kind of stuff. I know some don't care. I think it's cool to share this. I'd be curious to hear like how your streams are going, where they're coming from. I think it's different from everybody, and I'll talk to my friends that have their music on Spotify, and their streams will come from totally different places. My other band, our streams come from totally different places, and we have a good amount of monthly listeners and monthly streams as well. So let me know in the comments below where your streams are coming from, how many you're getting. I would love to, you know, check that out. And then also, if you're interested in growing more, if you go back on my YouTube channel, I've done videos in the past about how I kind of put a little juice into my streams and how I got them to grow a little more, you know, by getting them added to playlists and things like that. But anyway, if you have any questions, please also comment below. Check out the description below, links to all my stuff, my music, my website. Maybe this has got you curious about my music you've never listened to before. There's links down there. You can go check it out, listen to it, add it to some playlist. Maybe if you got a lot of listeners like that, you'll suddenly see yourself on here. And I'd also greatly appreciate that. So anyway, I hope you found this cool and interesting. And until next time, see you later.